Yo, what up, everybody? Welcome to this special edition of The Hype with Urban D. Super excited to bring you guys on board. We are going to be talking about Flavor Fest today, and I'm super excited. We have a great show lined up. If you guys haven't heard, Flavor Fest will be coming out live, a conference from October 7th to the 10th. We're super excited to go live, and there goes Urban D. Hold on one second, guys. All right. Definitely super excited about this. What's going on?
What's up? What's up, man?
Man, I'm super excited for Flavor Fest.
Yeah, me too, bro. Me too. We had like a 3-hour meeting today, man, going over all the details for it, and yeah, man, it's exciting, bro.
That's what's up. That's what's up. So if people, that are tuning in right now, that have never heard of Flavor Fest, let's give them what Flavor Fest is.
Yeah, sure. So Flavor Fest is an urban leadership conference and a music festival. Now, most people just know it a lot of times for the music, but it's more than just the music. There's an entire conference, and the whole purpose is to equip people that are in leadership, in ministry, business, the marketplace, serve at their church, planting a church, people that are artists. I mean, it's a real big mix of all kinds of different people that attend, but it's very diverse. People come from all over the country. So during the daytime, we have general sessions and we have workshops, and we have 7 workshop tracks with over 20 workshops that are going to be available when we do the breakouts. Then in the evening, that's when we do the big festival concerts that a lot of people know us for. We got some of the top names in CHH. We got this thing this year called the Battle of the Elements. We got a beat battle. We got a beatbox battle.
Yeah.
15-bar challenge, a DJ battle, breakdancing battle, and a DJ battle.
Oh my gosh.
I'm tired thinking about that.
That's a mouthful, and the fact that you're able to list all that off. I know you've been working hard on this.
Yeah, I'm gonna sit down in my chair and relax for a little bit because put my feet up. I'm tired, bro. It's been a long day.
Yeah, so it is the weekends. It's about that time for rest, right?
Yeah.
Man, I know I have some people already popping up in the chat. They're asking when the breaking competition is.
Yeah, so the breakdancing event is on Saturday night, October the 9th, and that's going down at 7 p.m. And so in our gymnasium, that's where I think we have a 2-on-2 battle, I think is the main thing. There's going to be a couple other battles, a kids battle, and some other like one-on-one things as well. But the main thing I think is the 2-on-2 battle. And so all the preliminary rounds will happen in the gym. And then on the main stage later in the night, when we have the Battle of the Elements segment, we're going to have the beat battle. We're going to have a graffiti battle. That's going to be on video. We can't do it in the room because everybody would get high. And then to cap it off, we'll have the final round of the breakdancing battle will be in the main auditorium in front of everybody. So that's like the really big crowd in the auditorium. So it's going to be super dope. So if you're a B-boy or you like to watch B-boying, B-girl, Saturday night is the night that's going down.
Yeah, so the dates for Flavor Fest are October 7th through the 10th. It's a mixture of a conference and a concert festival. I remember I was introduced to Flavor Fest, I'm going to date myself, back in like 07, 08.
Did you go to the old location?
I went to the old location where you guys had,
OG, bro.
the skate parks.
Alumni.
Yeah. Well, I was going to Southeastern at the time, and everyone was like, yo, you got to check out Flavor Fest. And I was like, what's that? And then they're like, yo, it's this huge festival. Like, bro, you need to go. And I remember we got to see, that night we got to see The Truth. We got to see, oh my gosh, Cross Movement. We got to see, it was a great night. Trip Lee, I think, was there. The Cray was opening up, I think. He was just getting in.
Right there. This trip right there on my head. Trust me,
I
was
got
back
the
there too.
I got the throwback
Oh yeah,
multiply
you wearing
shirt.
it, man. Yeah.
Yeah, man. Definitely excited, man, for this year and everything that's to come out of it. Um, Now, when artists are like approaching like Flavor Fest, like let's say they think, okay, well, next year when you guys throw Flavor Fest, I want to rap there, or I want to sign up. Usually, what's the process of your sign up? Is it usually like 6 months ahead of time that you do?
Yeah, good question because everybody and their grandmom is hitting us up to rap. Even still now, like, yo, you got any open slots? I'm like, what do you think? Like, this is 2 weeks away. Everybody in the world wants to rap in it because hardly anybody's even doing anything, right now. We're the only ones doing anything. Anyways, so we will open up to artist submissions. It usually opens up in January, and it's usually open for about 4 to 6 weeks. That's it. So we have a small window that we open it up for about 4 to 6 weeks. So usually by sometime in February, the end of February at the latest, we close it. And on the website, flavorfest.org, we'll have the details on there of how you submit. You have to actually mail in a physical packet. We make you go old school. We make
Ooh,
you
old
take some
school.
extra steps. You have to get some letters of recommendation from some places you performed before. You got to have a letter of recommendation from the church you attend, from your pastor, because we want to make sure you're plugged in, you're accountable somewhere. So these are slots for people that have been doing it for a little minute, not somebody that started rapping like 2 months ago and they just recorded a couple songs in their closet. Like, we want to know that you went out and you've done some ministry and you're
But I just
doing
want to
this.
push my single on SoundCloud. No, I'm just kidding. Let
Yeah,
me
but
stop.
sorry, man. We want to know you can perform on stage, and we got a couple of letters of recommendation. Because we've all been to those events before where somebody gets up and they weren't ready yet.
Yeah,
So
they were not ready.
but anyways, but we do those slots because we do want to give people, indie artists, an opportunity to have a platform and perform on the same stage as some of their favorite rappers. And so, every year we have around 10 indie artists each night that perform. And then
Nice.
we'll have 6 to 8 headliners of, people that are more well known and already have a following, or they're signed, or they have their own label. And so, there's been a lot of artists over the years that have gotten discovered at Flavor Fest because there is record label owners and there's just all kinds of people that are there. And so it's been a lot of amazing stories have come out of it, which we love to hear, those connection points. And Thursday night at Flavor Fest on the 7th, that's the opening general session. It's free. That's the only night that's totally free to everybody, to the public and everything. The opening night, we're going to actually talk about the 20-year legacy of Flavor Fest and some of the unique stories from artists that have, it's been like a platform, a launching pad for them, for
Yeah.
churches that have started, for, people's lives that have really been changed from being a part of it. So we love to do that, to be connectors, and that's kingdom. It's not about us. It's about him and connecting people to God's plan for their life.
That's awesome. Now, when I think about like Flavor Fest, and I think the festival part, like as far as the artists, you guys always bring out great artists. It's a really great atmosphere. Even if like you don't do music yourself, it's a great place to get acquainted with new music, new artists, and
Yeah.
just like really like dig into the Christian hip hop culture. But the conference, I've got to experience some of it last year, and man, you guys got some great speakers. I know you guys always rotate some of the speakers that you have. As far as this year, what are some of the speakers that you are like really looking forward to hearing from?
Sure. Well, we have 4 general sessions, and so the first general session is going to be kind of a different format on Thursday night. It's going to be an interview style, and Ruslan, Ruslan has got this incredible
Yeah.
YouTube channel and interviewing all kinds of people. He's actually going to interview me about Flavor Fest and some other people that want to talk about their stories. It's going to be really cool. Friday, in the general sessions, we have Michael Carrion. He's a pastor and church planner from the Bronx, New York. He speaks
Nice.
regularly all over the country. Amazing speaker, great urban theologian, a real thinker. Really great guy. So I've preached at his church many times before in the Bronx, and he's got a unique story. His church burned down this year, 3 weeks after he moved
Oh,
in, and then they remodeled it again after the fire. And then when Hurricane Ida went through, the roof collapsed and the whole church got flooded.
oh my gosh.
So 2 times in 1 year, a brand new church, everything destroyed.
Oh my
So
gosh.
crazy. So he's going to be sharing about that on Friday morning. And then Friday afternoon, we have Pastor Scott Free from Crossover Church ATL, and from City Takers. He does great work up in the A. And that's our other church, plant that we have out of Crossover. He's going to be speaking. And Tony Collier, and Tony, she's a female. Her and her husband planted Hillsong Atlanta. Her husband.
Nice.
And so it's going to be great on Friday. And then Saturday morning, we got Pastor Eric Mason, author, just great urban theologian, and we got my man KB is speaking as well.
Nice.
So we got some great speakers, y'all.
That's what's up. That's what's up. Now, as far as like, for people that don't know you, Tommy, I met you as Urban D back in the day. You came to my church. You were a Christian hip hop artist yourself.
Yeah.
You got on the stage and you did Opa. I remember I remember that track. That track.
Wow, bro, you
stuck
taking me back. That was like early 2000s right there.
Yes, early 2000s.
What church were you at, man?
So I was at Center of the Christian Family in Orlando. I was part of the youth group. It was
I remember coming there, man. Big Spanish church, right?
Yes, big Spanish church in Orlando. It was definitely like, we were super excited because what we would do is we would normally do like a youth group night. We'll bring an artist. We had some great artists come through. We've had like, I could think of a lot of artists that I got introduced just because of our church, like Group One Crew and a couple of them. They used to come through a lot. And actually, that's where I got started doing my music as well.
Okay.
So it's one of those things that like you see people and it's like, man, to see you go from that to now you have a church in Tampa, you have a church plant in Atlanta, like you have like this legacy of 20 years of Flavor Fest. When you think back to like some of the earlier years, what were some of the toughest things for you becoming like switching from Christian rapper to pastor, if that makes sense?
Yeah, good question, man. So, I think some people don't know this about me, but they know I've done music. So I think it's on this wall over here behind me. So that's my albums back there. So I've done 9 albums. And here's the part about it that sometimes people don't know. So even back there, my very first album, that pink one, which by the way, I didn't pick pink. It just came out pink and we're like, what? Right? It's kind of cool looking though now. But anyways, that was my first indie record. That came out in 96. And then The Answers was my second indie record in 98. Then I got signed, and that album right there was The Missing Element. That was in stores everywhere. Remember we used to have to go to stores? Yeah. And then
Christian Bible school. Yeah.
Translation 2001. That's the album that has Opa on it.
Yeah.
DJ Official actually produced that track with the grip
nice.
guitars and stuff. And so, then I did The Immigrant in 04. I'm giving you a whole tour here.
I like it.
In 2007, that was my biggest record. That was with EMI Gospel. And that actually, I'm going to come a little closer here. That actually had a DVD with it. So that was a CD and a DVD documentary. And a book came out through Zondervan. My first book, becoming an author. And so that was a monumental project. A book, CD, and DVD all together. And then I did that indie. I went back to indie again after that because you don't need a label anymore, right? And that came out. It was called Unheard in 2010. And then I didn't put another record out until 2015. That is Rebuild. and also came out with a book that came out through InterVarsity Press. And then I put out my book through my own publishing company that I started now, Love Our City. That's been my biggest book I've ever put out, actually, and it's through myself. And a whole bunch of churches have done the Love Our City. It's a 30-day devotional, and I put out an album with that as well. That came out like 2 years ago. So yeah, so 9 albums. I might do 10. You see the way it's all set? Like,
Yeah, you got. It's definitely got to get that 10th one in.
Yeah. So here's what I was gonna say, bro. So through all this, I'm saying all that to say, you say, how was it going from pastor to now a rapper to being a pastor? The entire time I did all this music, I was still a pastor.
Wow.
Yeah, bro. So when that very first album came out in '96, that was the year I started in full-time ministry, and I was youth pastor. So I was a youth pastor at Crossover for the first 6 years. And really the reason I was able to be here full-time was because of my music. So it was either like go get a job, or I could rap, and I didn't think that rap could be my job. But it's so funny. My pastor at the time, the guy who started Crossover Church, shout out to my man Joe McCutcheon. He's up in Atlanta now, and Crossover ATL partners with the ministry he's a part of. It's a homeless ministry in downtown called Safe House. But Pastor Joe, he said to me, he said, "Hey man, I was raising some money through some other partners and sponsors, and so it was like a part-time salary. The church was able to give me like $100 a month. So like, hey, instead of you going and waiting tables or hustling a couple nights a week, why don't you like make an album and go do your music and minister at churches?" Because he knew I rapped. And I was like, I was so naive to the music, Crescendo. I was like, but I'm not signed. How do I make an album? I'm not signed. He's like, what do you mean? He's like, you just go rent some studio time. You go and record somewhere. You find somebody to produce music for you, your beats. I was like, oh, you could do that? Oh, I didn't even know that. But I don't know anybody that makes beats. And like 2 weeks later, I met this guy that made beats, and we connected, and he did all the production for my very first album 25 years ago. Funny story is he's our kids' church director right now.
Nice.
Yeah, man. It's like a small world, man. And anyway, so the first 6 years I was the youth pastor as I was doing music, and then as the youth ministry grew from like one teenage girl to hundreds, and Sundays only had about 40 people still, but most of them were young adults by that time. The church leadership and even the pastor was like, why don't you take over? Why don't you take over? Can you become the pastor? Can you just step into this role? And at first, for a while, I was fighting it. I was like, nah, man, I don't want to do that. I'm still in my 20s. I got a youth group of a couple hundred that we're barely keeping up with. I'm rapping, I'm traveling, and that's what pays my bills. Like, I'm not trying to put on the pastor hat. Like, that's gonna be too much. And so I fought it for a while, but eventually, you know what, the Lord like kind of pushed me and my wife to give us the green light to say, step into it. And so at first my thing with everybody and with God was like, I'll do it for a little while until we find the next guy. I'll fill in the gap, But a few months into it, I realized, like, I think we found him. It's supposed to be me. Like,
yeah.
And one of the biggest assets we have, I always say, is we didn't have a lot of people, didn't have a lot of resources, but we had freedom to reshape and recreate what the urban church could look like. And so, you put an artist and a creative in the lead pastor seat with a bunch of creatives and artists around me, and God just began to do something really cool.
That's crazy. I think that's a crazy story, and I know some people don't realize the impact it is for you to actually do both. You know what I mean? Because it also inspires your youth. It inspires. I know there's artists that came out of your church because of your leadership, because of that. And I got
some of my artists on here right now. I see him. Shout out to my man Marcus. My man Q, they were in the studio here in the church. I peeked my head in about 2 hours ago. They were making get ready. My man Q, he's in the beat battle at Flavor Fest, and he's new at Crossover. He just moved here, him and his wife, from Ohio this year, and he's a producer. He raps, plays all kinds of instruments and everything. But he was making some beats in the studio for the beat battle. He was doing this. I'm not even gonna tell you. I can't even tell you what the sample was from. It's from an epic movie when you hear it, everybody's gonna be like, oh.
Yeah, man, I was excited last year because like I knew the artist who won the beat battle last year. It's my friend Avila,
Yeah, I be like,
and
he's at Crossover Church ATL. That's my
yeah,
man.
he's over at Crossover Church at ATL, and he started like doing music, and he would come and rap at the open mic that I run in Orlando. So to see him go from just like this open mic artist to headlining to now he's like making beats with Wande and doing his thing up there,
Yeah, that's
I'm
great.
it's definitely it's a beautiful thing to see like the legacy continue.
Good.
Because I know it's because you'll see people that are in your church elevate higher. You know what I mean? But that's what it's all about. I with my pastor Gabe, I just actually transitioned to a different church. But before I did, I told him, I said, "Hey, what do you think about me taking my Verb open mic ministry with me?" And what he told me was, do you remember those like old members at churches that are like 30 years old, or like, oh, I've been going to this church for like 30 years, I've been going to this church for 40 years, and they like kind of brag about it.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
he goes, that's not really something to brag about. That's like having a kid live in your house for 30 years and never grow up and and never become, have his own
yeah, yeah.
family. And so like when he told me, he's like, I'm actually proud that you're like taking the ministry out and going out and being evangelistic with it. So when it comes to like seeing the dynamics of being a pastor and then seeing the seeds actually take root and grow and blossom, I think that's amazing. And I can honestly say, like, even you coming and just rapping at my church that one time, that impacted me. The
That's
fact that
great
I
to
can
hear,
name a
bro.
track and like I can say the track, because my whole thing was, okay, who's running Flavor Fest when I was in Lakeland? And he goes, oh, Pastor Tom. He also goes by Urban D. Oh, I know Urban D. He rapped at my church. So like
Yeah, yeah,
I literally came over because of that. So it's like,
yeah.
it's crazy to see the impact that you can make on the world through urban leadership. And I think that's probably one of the biggest things that I'm looking forward towards your event is the urban leadership part. We know this, right? We know that hip hop is the most streamed music in the world,
Yep.
you
Number
know?
one.
And so what are some of the ways that you've implemented that? Because I know a lot of people know your church famous for that, but like, what are some of the ways you've implemented hip hop into your church and you've used it for ministry in Tampa?
Yeah, so I did a post recently, man, just like what you said. I did a post recently on IG, and I put on there like the stats of music consumption in the year 2020, and hip hop and R&B by far were number one. I mean, it was like 31.5% or whatever, and the second place category was like rock music at like less than half of that, like 15%, and then pop was like 9%, and everything beyond that was like smaller and smaller and smaller. Like gospel and Christian music was only 1.8%. You know what I'm
Wow.
saying? So you look at like so many churches are saying like, man, we're struggling with reaching the under 40 crowd. Like we can't reach millennials, we can't reach Gen Z, and we're struggling to reach the next generations. And it's like, but so one thing I always challenge leaders with and pastors, I do a lot of training and coaching and speak at church leadership conferences, and I say, man, what does the soundtrack of your church sound like? Because the music is language. And even when people walk into your auditorium before the church service starts, what music are you playing in the background? When you have announcements, video announcements, or you show a video, what's in the background? Because all that speaks who you are. What style is your worship, even, like all those things. So at Crossover, we're very intentional to, play pop music. Pop meaning popular. You know what I'm saying? Like what's going to reach the most people? Well, that style is hip hop and R&B. And so, you know, when you walk in, we have a DJ on the platform every Sunday. We have about 3 different DJs at the church that rotate. So they, you know, every Sunday we have a different DJ that's spinning. And when you walk in, there's a DJ up there, and we have a spotlight on him usually as a countdown's playing before service starts. And then, you know, they'll play, instrumental during the announcements or the offering. And if we have a guest artist like you guys, sometimes they'll be the ones to actually, you know, play the track from, you know, the turntables and be up there with you and stuff. So, but, you know, we've been doing that for over 20 years. But it's funny because so many other churches, that's like, oh my gosh, they got a DJ. Or people walk in, they're like, there's a DJ. This is crazy. And it's like, to us, it's like, that's what we've been doing. We've incorporated that all these years. And so then in addition, even the worship style, you know, like our worship, you know, is R&B, gospel. We'll have some rap that'll be maybe on a faster song. Somebody will come in and spit 16 bars or 8 bars real quick. Some of our worship sometimes is an EDM style. You know, we'll do some Spanish sometimes. We'll do reggae type of tracks once in a while.
Nice.
So it's very diverse. It's rhythmic. It's urban. It's not just all hip hop, because you can't sing hip hop necessarily during worship. And then we have guest artists that come regularly. Like when you guys came, at least a couple times a month, we'll have a guest artist from our church or from outside that will do a song. And a lot of times that's hip hop. Sometimes it's R&B or singing. But I mean, that's the crowd that we're reaching. That's the vibe here in the city, and it's effective and it's relevant. I'm not saying that every church has to do it like us, not at all, but we're very good at reaching the next generation. The majority of the people in the room are, you know, under 40. And super diverse, Black, white, Hispanic, mixed, young, old, you know, all kinds of different economic brackets. You know, I say we have some people that drive a Bentley to church, and then we have other people that walk to church. They don't even have a car and ride their bike, and then everything in between. You know, so it's economically diverse, and because we love all of our city, and that's what the church should look like, y'all.
And I think you guys picking where you picked was super intentional as far as where you're at in Tampa. I mean, you guys are like, you're next to Busch Gardens, you're next to the Strip, like you're just in there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I still remember, like, you guys basically gutted out an old Toys R Us, right?
Yeah, it was already gutted out when we got here, man. Like, you walked in the front door and you could see the concrete walls. And so we had this blank, empty canvas to create the church when we moved in here 10 years ago, a little over 10 years ago.
Wow, man. So like when you guys were creating the church and kind of investing all that time, what were some of the challenges that you had, especially dealing, you know, you're doing church a little bit unconventional to most people around the world. You know, they're going to be like, where are the hymns, where's the Hillsong worship, you know, the full-on Hillsong worship, you know.
We do Hillsong, but it's remixed. Yeah, our worship team is actually called Remix.
Nice. So what are some of the challenges that you faced doing ministry this way? Have you gotten slack from it? Have you, you know, dealt with any protesters or anything like that?
Yeah. No real protesters. Well, we've got a few over the years. We had some Hebrew Israelites show up before outside. We had some lady that was like against abortion, and because we didn't go on a march with her, she was protesting one time, like, you guys believe in abortion. We're like, no, we don't. We're not going to join every ministry to do everything. We can't do it anyways. So, yeah, there's definitely been some people in the church world that don't understand what we do and might hate on us. We've gotten a little bit of hate mail over the years. That was years ago, not really anymore. Most people that don't like us just talk about us behind our back, probably, you know. Once in a while, we get somebody on social media that'll say something like a knucklehead, like real judgmental or real traditional, whatever, saying we can't do church like this. But, you know, for the most part, you know, people embrace what we do because they see the fruit. They see it's working. They see all the people coming to Jesus. They see, you know, we baptized 1,584 people since we've been in this facility, less than 10 years, or a little bit more than 10 years now.
Wow,
so
praise God for that.
It's amazing, bro. But so some of the challenges though have been, it hasn't been easy. It's urban ministry. So, you know, especially when we started, we had a lot of people that were younger, and a lot of people that were just young in the faith. So, you know, you put those two things in, you know, together. And so you have people that don't have a lot of resources to contribute, and you have more needs and less contribution. So it was really challenging. And most of us all, even still to this day, everybody that works on the staff here, I mean, this is our full-time job, but we all have side hustles. We all have other streams of income. We have to.
Yeah.
We're not able to get paid, you know, maybe what we could get paid at some big suburban church.
Yeah.
But financially, our church has come light years, you know, from where we were, you know, in the beginning. Like, so for instance, the first year I became the pastor in 2002, our total annual budget was $50,000. That was how much money got donated to the church that year through offerings and tithes, 50 grand. So this year, 19 years later, in one Sunday, we gave away over 50K. To missionaries, nonprofits in our city, to church plants, and to families that were in need. And we gave away a car in all three services.
Wow.
Yeah.
Praise God.
So,
Oh, my gosh.
I never would have dreamt that we'd be able to do the kind of stuff we're able to do today because of the faithfulness and generosity of our people. But it took us years to get there and years to grow to the point where we're at now. And of course, we still have a lot of new people and unchurched people walking in that are still learning what it means to give and contribute and trust God in those ways. And I totally get it. But we've, you know, grown a big group of disciples that give faithfully and helps us love our city and give back in so many different ways. But in the earlier years, we had dreams to do, you know, things like that, but our resources were really tight. And so we would still do a lot of stuff, but it was just on a shoestring budget, where now we're able to do stuff like we could give away over $50,000 in one Sunday, and just amazing stuff like that. So, but that doesn't happen overnight.
Yeah.
Somebody that's listening to this right now, like, yo, I've been here for, this year was 25 years. So it's a grind. It takes faithfulness. It takes consistency, especially when you're serving in the city. But we've been able to watch, you know, the faithfulness of God and the fruit now over these years. It's been amazing.
Yeah, I think it really goes to show that your church is mature enough to understand where the fruit and where their donations are going. Yeah. I know some people can feel kind of burnt out by certain churches that ask for money, and, you know, they get on this whole like, oh, well, why do they need money and blah, blah, blah. But the thing is, like, the church should be the first to respond in these, like, you know, when someone can't pay their electric bill, when somebody is struggling with, you know, bringing food to their table. You know, the church was, and if you think about Acts, we were called to share amongst each other, you know, clothes off our back, you know, food off our, you know, our tables, and share, and basically, you know, share as a community. And I think what's powerful about what your church is that it's more than a church, it's a community, and people need to see church as a community in general, because how else are you going to be accountable? I know a lot of people want to just stay at home and stream nowadays, and kind of, we've gotten into this funk with COVID. Yeah. But I can honestly say, you know, community is key. It's really key, you know, having the conversations in person, being held accountable, because now, I mean, we don't have to answer the phone call, right? We don't have to, we can put someone on mute. We can, you know, put them on red. You know what I mean? You'll have to deal with that awkwardness, but, you know, you can put someone on red. But that being said, I know this is like, we had to skip last year because of everything that happened. How has COVID impacted the church, your church, and what are some of the hurdles that you went through, like adjusting to that season?
Yeah, Yeah, so I think like every church, man, we were like really wondering, like, oh my goodness, how is this going to work out? Being that we can't meet in person, are people still going to stay connected? Are they still going to watch? Are they still going to, are they going to be all right? Are people still going to give? Like, how are we going to keep, everything running? And,
Yeah.
Man, 2020 was a tough year in many ways because we had to pivot, we had to adjust, we had to innovate, but we ended up growing like crazy online. And I know a lot of churches will say that, oh yeah, we all grew online, but we really like had real numbers. We had people watching from all over the country. We've had several families that have moved here to Tampa because they started worshiping with us during the pandemic. Because
Wow.
their church was closed, or they just were, not even going to church much anymore. And so, man, it's been an amazing season. Even though we were closed for 7 months, we didn't reopen till the beginning of October. And we did that with everything spaced out, 6 feet apart, and everyone was wearing masks and all the protocols. And then as time went on, we put a little bit more chairs in the auditorium, and then eventually we made masks optional, like this summer, for about 2 months, and then now we're back to wearing masks again for right now. But thankfully, things in Florida are getting a lot better. The cases are about a third of what they were back in the peak about a month or so ago. And we did have a lot of people in our church that got COVID, not from being at church, but that got it. But praise God, everybody is pretty much better. Everyone survived. We did have some people in the church lose family members, but we didn't actually lose anyone from the actual church, thank God. It's definitely been challenging, but I have a great team of innovators, and we figured stuff out, and we've grown during this time. Here's a crazy thing, bro. So in person, since we reopened less than a year ago, over 50% of our in-person audience now is brand new. And so there's so many new people. And every Sunday we're averaging around 20 new families and individuals that are attending. And so many people are moving to Tampa right now. Everybody's moving to Florida. Everybody's leaving us. Shout out to my man, DJ Newman. We're trying to get him to move to Florida to be one of our DJs as well. But seriously, we have every week we have new people that move in here that I'm meeting that are from New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, and they're just like, I know like everything was closed up there like forever, And, in Florida, things were a lot more open, and the weather's better. You can go outside, a lot more, and so, we've just been flooded with so many new people that have been coming, which has been great. And so, we have this vibe of like we're almost like a new church. There's this momentum. People are excited because a lot of the things that we do, like they're like, oh my gosh, this is so cool. Like it's all new to them. And so it's been an amazing season. And financially, like 2020 was the best year that our church ever had, despite the pandemic. And 2021 is going to be even better than 2020. So in all this, like in many ways, our church is coming out of the pandemic much stronger than we went into it. Like there's so many miracle stories I could tell you. Now it's been hard, and there's still some people that haven't come back yet, or they're not coming back much. But we're still trying to figure out how do we minister to them, stay connected. We're doing still, small groups on Zoom. Of course, we're still streaming, and our streaming numbers are actually the past couple months, as our in-person numbers have become the highest. Even as COVID was in spiking, our in-person numbers were the highest since we reopened, and every week it's inching up a little bit more. Our online numbers have also at the same time. So it's been a season of like just favor and God's moving. And so we're excited about as, the pandemic gets better in the months to come, right? That more and more people will come back and we'll continue to keep growing. We'll put a lot of new systems in place intentionally to reach out to first-time guests and follow up with them and get people plugged in. And we've been a lot more intentional about that. And during the pandemic, we were able to really work on and tweak some of those systems, and it's really helped.
Yeah, I think when it comes to like the pandemic and how there's been a lot of fear, there's been a lot of division, but I think the church has done a great job in general of bringing people together again and understanding that, yes, community is key to where you're at. You need to get plugged. you can't do it on your own. I know a lot of people struggled with depression and anxiety during this time, and I know that we can continue to grow as churches and as faithful people to God when we sow into people's lives and bring them in. But man, I keep saying this, man. I'm excited for this Flavor Fest, man.
Yeah.
You have some great events. We have the beat battles, the B boys and B girls. Um, what is like one of the things that you're looking forward to? Like,
So yeah, one of the other things I didn't mention too, man, is that's it's pretty cool that we're doing is Thursday night. We are doing a fashion show after the
a
first general
fashion show.
session. Yeah, so featuring all like the urban clothing lines, some of the the ones that are a little bit more known. So Unapologetic is going to be
Wow.
featuring some of their new stuff. Hustle, Pray, Eat. They're from up
Nice.
Michigan. Unapologetics from Atlanta. Then this clothing line called Eternal. That's mine.
Ooh.
That's mine. And then my man KB and HGA Native Supply, they're going to be featured as well. So we got a catwalk and models and everything. We're going to have a DJ spinning with people like announcing each piece. And it's going to be really dope. And then we got some performances intertwined with the fashion show. Angie Rose from New York, she's going to be represented.
Nice.
And Richie Righteous as well. So, yeah, we're going to have
Wow.
that New York flavor.
Yeah.
So it's going to be really dope. And really, I mean, we haven't even seen that done anywhere else for our movement, our culture, like some of the clothing lines that, that we all wear and we love. To see like a fashion show with them representing some new stuff that they have coming out. So it's going to be hot.
That's dope. That's dope.
So
So,
bring some, if you come to the Flavor Fest, bring some extra money because everybody's going to have their booth set up and there's going to be some fire merch
yeah,
that's going to be here. Some hoodies, jackets, shirts,
th-
long sleeve tees. I mean, like, yeah, you want to bring some extra money, man, so you can get your fits right for the winter.
I definitely know that last time I was there, I was like, man, I'm gonna be broke.
No, save up, bro.
As far as when things kick off, so it starts Thursday, but what time on Thursday? Are you doing general sessions in the morning as well on Thursday?
No, Thursday night at 7:00.
Thursday at
That's the
7
first
o'clock.
opening session that's open to the general public from 7 to about 8:30, and then the late night fashion show is at 9 until about
Nice.
9:45. And so yeah, we're gonna
Nice.
have the exhibitors. I mean, the hip hop shop will be open in the lobby. We're gonna have all some merch setups in the lobby. We're gonna have coffee out there as well. We got a coffee bar that's gonna be real dope, and so it's gonna be an amazing time.
That sounds dope. Now that I know that, now I have to come Thursday night.
Yeah, bro, you gotta come Thursday too, man. You don't want to miss that, man.
Oh man, that's exciting, man. That's exciting. So, it's great to hear about your ministry. I know that if people are tuning in now, obviously you have urband.org, right? And then where they can purchase any last minute tickets to Flavor Fest, right? We still got some tickets available, or no?
Yeah. So
Are we sold
Flavor
out?
Fest, no. There's room. We got a big building. So if you're worried even about like, is there room to spread out? And like, there's plenty of room. We have a huge facility, and even the way we have the workshops and the seating, it's all spaced out a little bit. We have tall ceilings. Our ceilings are over 17 feet high. Good ventilation, all that stuff. So it's almost like you're outside. So yeah, and you can wear your mask. We're going to be encouraging that. So flavorfest.org is where you can go to get your tickets, flavorfest.org. And if you're watching this from somewhere else and you can't make it to Tampa, we do have virtual options available as well, where you'll be able to stream the general sessions, the concerts, and a couple of the workshop tracks that you'll be able to choose from as well. So we have a lot of people from other cities that are going to be doing the virtual option as well. So jump into either in person. We love to see you in person, but if you can't make it, we have a virtual ticket option available on flavorfest.org as well.
Yeah, that's I'm excited for it. Like I'm geared up for it. I got the website in the background. Leave his mark. That's the theme this year, right? Is that correct?
Yeah, leave his mark. leave his mark. So we're talking about legacy and everything that, you know, we're going to be giving a lot of stuff that we've done during the pandemic and how we thrive to share with other churches. So, yeah, I see somebody in the chat said, I remember when they started at Corey Red and Precise, it was packed. So, yeah. See that poster right there? New York City's finest. That was the poster
Resistance
right
is futile.
there.
Resistance is futile.
The Christian hip-hop history wall right here.
Yeah. Yo, resistance is futile, bro. Like, that junk was fire.
Red and Precise.
Or 11 precise.
Classic.
Oh, man. But yeah, man, is there, if you want to give any shout outs, I'd like to leave this time to you. If you want to give any shout outs to anyone.
Sure. I just want to give a big shout out to my team that has been holding it down, getting everything ready for Flavor Fest. Lily Perlaza, she is the Flavor Fest director. She's a beast. She's the Love Our City director as well, and she's just a great event planner. She's been working countless hours. And then our worship pastor Darnell, he's on the planning team as well, so he's getting kind of everything ready with all the concerts and the artists and all the tech stuff. And we just had a speaker blowout in the auditorium, and so like we're ordering all new speakers, so we're gonna have a whole new sound system for Flavor Fest. So it's gonna be the best sound we've ever had. The speakers get here, I think they get here tomorrow. So yeah.
Nice. Well, definitely shout out to Crossover as well. You know, your church, if you guys want to follow them, it's at Crossover 813. Yeah. They also have the ATL site as well. And definitely excited for an amazing weekend. October 7th to 10th. It starts Thursday night with general admission being free, at least for the beginning of the evening, and then the late night fashion show.
Yep.
And then are you guys doing a service on Sunday too, right? You're doing...
Yeah. So Sunday we have our two services at 10 o'clock and 11:45. That'll kind of be like the finale of the weekend. Our worship team will be rocking, and I'll be speaking. We're starting a new series that weekend, an apologetic series called Is Your Truth True? Everybody's like, I gotta live my truth. Okay, but is your truth true? Is it true? Let's talk.
Bro, start talking. Yeah, you got to dig into them absolutes and all those, the relatives, the relative truths that people speak. It's crazy. But yeah, man, I'm excited. And again, we'll be throwing this up on YouTube and sharing this on Radio UNT.
No doubt.
Super excited for the weekend. Make sure you follow the Hype Radio Show if you aren't already. It's your boy Crescendo here with Urban D. Thank you so much for hanging out. We got the Spotify playlist. Make sure you check that out. I made an unofficial playlist for Flavor Fest using all the artists. Yeah. I just threw them all together, and it's a dope list. Yeah. I'm excited to bump that in my car. So
good, man. Well, hey, bro, thank you so much for having me, man. And that even that you remembered Opa, man, that's super encouraging, bro. Keep doing what you're doing, man. Appreciate you guys when your squad came out here for the tour. Love you guys' hearts, man. Everybody was blessed.
Yeah, man. Again, I'm encouraged to do this because of artists like you that paved the way. That showed me that, and you've actually like really impacted me on the idea of being a pastor and an artist. Who knows where God takes me in my journey and my ministry.
Hey.
But, this has definitely been encouraging, and, thank you so much for taking your time on a Friday evening and hanging out with us here at The Hype.
Definitely, man. Appreciate what you do, man. I'm going to see you at Flavor Fest. God bless.
I'll see you, bro. Take it easy. Peace.
Peace.